All right, so the other day I posted that somebody should do a master class on Nipsey Hussle. And so I decided that somebody might as well be me. So if hopefully people can appreciate it and maybe somebody else can do it better. I'll be okay with that too. So the reason why I chose Nipsey Hussle Masterclass for the album in particular, Victory Lap. And so I constantly say that, Nipsey Hussle was like one of the greatest losses to society as a whole in this generation, right? I understand that that's a big statement, like why is, 40-year-old, 41-year-old Malik um, have this 33-year-old rapper and, such high regards. And the reason why is not just because Nipsey Hussle the rapper, but what he stood for as a rapper. Now, mind you, I wasn't even a Nipsey Hussle fan until a friend of mine, Norm, sent me the Victory Lab album, and I wasn't even going to listen to it until I was scrolling YouTube and I saw the video for Hustle and Motivate. Right. So me as a business person, I um I kind of took to the lyrics Hustle and Motivate, and so it's a good video. It's like, all right, cool. You know what? I like that record. Let me hear the rest of the album. And when I put the album on, like I was really blown away by the album. Like how it was put together. It wasn't just the beats. Like, I'm not even really like a huge like West Coast music fan, right? But like how it was organized, like how it was put together, like the sound, the audio, like the lyrics, everything was really just perfect for me, right? And the reason why Nipsey Hussle in itself, like that figure, is so big, and why I honestly feel like it'll be very difficult to have another Nipsey Hussle or have somebody that can even relate on any levels, is when you think of the man that he was and the man that he became to be. Normally you're thinking like, okay, just like a regular rapper from South Central Los Angeles, rolling 60s Crip gang. The was a gang that he was affiliated with, that he's, self-proclaimed gang banger. Then became an affiliate. I guess you have to be in the culture to understand the difference in the two. Um, and like the things, so people can relate, right, to him, like as a guy from the street that grew up, and then to making it and then understand his intelligence, and his understanding of the cryptocurrency space, right, with his other investments, Vector 90, bringing effort to the neighborhood, bringing other business to the neighborhood, bringing healthy options to the neighborhood of South Central, and doing what he can to make it better. And what was so important in somebody with that background is like the streets can relate. The streets can relate to high school dropout. They can relate to shootings in the neighborhood, right? The streets can relate to losing friends too young, right? I've never been a street person. I've never been in the streets ever, right? But I have uh, way too many friends of my friends were lost to the streets, right? Between murder, suicide, incarceration, 20, 30, 40-year incarceration, um, drug addiction. And these are people in my group of friends. And I've never been in the streets. And this is my reality. So for people that are in the streets, they can relate times 10, right? So it's not, so somebody else that's not from the area, not from their background, it'd be very difficult for them to have a story that people can relate to and that kids can listen to and get an understanding into what Nipsey was saying and how he was trying to move the culture forward. He has transitioned from that gang culture, into executive, and the lyrics show that movement. So the song that I'm gonna cover today is called Loaded Bases, and it's featuring CeeLo Green. Um, hopefully the platforms don't take this down once I post it, because I do not own rights to this music. But I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna go ahead and play it. And I'm gonna just run. I just want you to hear the genius of Nipsey Hussle through this one record. And if it doesn't get taken down too crazy, then I'll cover other records and how I feel about them and why they're important and why they're still relevant to me, 18 months after Nipsey Hussle's passing, uh, 2 years after the album was released. Why this is still Victory Lap is still one of the only albums that I can listen to back to back and still feel and still pull um, gems from. Let's get started. All right, now let's bring that back and like really break that down, break those lyrics down, right? Now, load that bass, that's his motivation. So basically, he was like, yo, we here, we made it, we feeling lucky. We weren't even supposed to survive to get this part. Like, we should go to, with the luck we got, we can go to Vegas, right? Feeling over anxious, excited, like a home invasion. Anything can go wrong at any moment, right? So people in the streets, like that pressure, that anxiety, that feeling, like, when you out there, doing your thing, and how, that pressure is just like, man, I'm over anxious, just feeling like super lucky, and blessed that he made it this far, saying like, yo, he's my door inflated and more creative. He got more money, he could do more things to create more money, right? This is important to young boys especially, right? It says sign a couple big deals, but ain't no parading. Sign a couple of big deals, but it's no parading. What that means is he's doing things on the back end. He's not flaunting his bread. He's not out here, you know, putting everything on the gram. He's not showing the world all of his big moves. And like the young dudes, like, no, like when you move in silence, everybody does not need to know what you're doing. You know, and then this right here, this is now we all know how difficult it is to escape poverty. Well, all the pitfalls, right? There's no human capital, there's no social capital in the ghettos. Everybody just put there, right? You got the police, you got drugs, you got murder, you got trauma that's not really talked about. We got, it's like there's so many, like your life has to really be ordained, planned out. You have to go through life with almost no pitfalls just to make it out of poverty, right? And so every generation, it's a couple of people that decode the matrix that figure it out. Like, okay, we in poverty, we got this gang culture, we got everything good on, but it's a few of us that's going to navigate out of that and operate on a higher plane, right? Says when they get to speak, it's like a coded language, meaning like the people that's around them, they don't even understand what they're talking about. Like it's a coded language. Like when you're talking about mutual funds, when you're talking about equities, when you're talking about real estate, when you're talking about investment, like these, if nobody around you was taught these things, it's like a coded language. Like people around them just do not understand, right? And it just reminds them of the strength and the stolen greatness, right? Re- Remind niggas of the strength and all the stolen greatness, right? We're talking about how we come from a long line of kings and inventors and creators, and we've created great empires. But that's not what's instilled in you, right? In the U.S. at this moment, what's instilled in you is what you see on TV, what you see most of the music, which is negativity, with is poverty, right? You know, people have this poverty tourism, poverty context, and they just like to see the struggle relationships and struggle everything else. But as they're making it out, they understand like they do have greatness and it was stolen from them when they were brought and put in this situation. Now, we we used to shoot and niggas at the mobile station, full circle, mogul motivation. Full circle me like, yo, that wasn't we used to be kings. Then we went to shooting people at the mobile station. Now we back to being kings. You know what I'm saying? So we used to be kings, right? We used to be invented, we used to be great. And then we broken down to a society where we shoot one another at the gas station for being in the wrong neighborhood, in the wrong colors, essentially. Full circle, mogul motivation, back on that creative plane. Now, when he's saying self-educate, like I said, he dropped out of high school. He dropped out, I think, like ninth grade. He dropped out of school, right? All right, now I'm gonna bring that back just a little bit because that's extremely important. Wait, all right. So now we're talking about my self-educated, shrewd negotiation. He's taught himself business. He's a high school dropout. He learned business from other mentors. Like he did speak to he has some stuff we spoke to Master P, right? But he's very well read. And in every interview, people talk about the books that he's um told them to read and how he was able to self-educate and like learn business in general, right? How they went from a teacher stand to the store, being like the first smart store in the world, like really with his store. And shrewd negotiation sent at the shark. That's the label we're talking about, right? That's the label. That's these other people. That's like these big dogs, right? They sit at the table with, afraid, debating, right? They basically saying like they scared to even really talk to him. Like, yo, his negotiations, they didn't even expect him to be on that level. Then no tent my Mercedes, that's for inspiration, right? 2 kilos on my neck, like the fucking 80s. Now, why is that important? Why is that line right there important? No, tent my Mercedes, that's for inspiration, right? This is to show the kids in the neighborhood that you could get rich and without being a megastar, because he was not a megastar. He was a local rapper at the time. Like he did not have an international presence. Everything that he did was independent. He got out there and sold CDs on the stand. He walked around his neighborhood, sold them out of the trunk of his car. Then they went to selling T-shirts, opening stores, and like this was just from the hustle and the muscle, right? This is not a record deal. Nipsey Hussle did not get rich from a record deal. Started with the street money, then went into legal money. Now, 2 kilos on my neck. The reason why that is important is because, as you see in the image, he only wears gold. He has very few diamonds because diamonds are really worthless. So he's in his records, he teaches people like, yo, okay, cool, you could buy jewelry, but just buy gold, right? Forget them diamonds. Them diamonds are worthless. Invest your money in gold so you can stunt, but at the same time you stunting, you're really investing, right? So everybody, he's always only wearing gold, very little diamonds, and he's teaching kids like, yo, you can invest, you can floss, but you can still invest at the same time, you know. West Side Slauson Ave, known as my demonstration. Like that's the neighborhood where he's from. You know, Slauson Avenue, Rolling 60s, South Central Los Angeles. Now, West Side Slauson Ave, once again, know my demonstration. Basically, he's saying like people around there, they know his work, right? They understand like he put in work, he put in real work, like he's like real crip. He did whatever for the neighborhood. You know, he's not from outside, talking like, basically making them stories. Like people ask about him, he always say, no smut on his name. Like his name is really good, you know. Also it goes back to born and raised, y'all affiliated, right? So that's talking about like it's a lot of rappers that claim that claim gang affiliation that's not really in the streets, right? It's not really a part of a gang, but y'all affiliated, right? They just became rappers all of a sudden, they down with a gang, and he just basically putting other rappers on blast. All right, now let's break down that hook that CeeLo singing. Listen to my ambition, cause I'm on one. Swinging for the fences for the home run. Like he's out there, like really putting it all on the line to make it home. Like he know he got it, but even further beyond into the universe. But I got to make it to first. Meaning, like, listen, he's out here, like he can see the future, he sees his destiny, but he's still out here in the streets. And so, with all the pitfalls, he still has to make it to first base. It's like every second is being stolen. I risked it for every ticket that we sold him. Right. Now I feel like every second is being stolen. It's like everything, tugging at him, pulling away, going through this maze of life, and I risk it for every ticket, like everything, like all the risk that he did, like all the dope that he had to sell, like all the, weed that he had to sell, like all the licks that he went on, just to make money to invest in his music. He sold his car, invest in music. He used to sell fake weed to people to invest in the music. Everything that we came back, invested into the music. And what he did to invest it, he took that street money and invested in himself. I risked it for every ticket we sold him. Right, he put that work and did whatever just to get to the point where people were willing to buy records to sing perform. Basically like, listen, you got the ball, but I'm gonna take it home. Like it's why it's loaded bases. You're like, look, I'm on third, but I need y'all to come up behind me, get this bunt, get me to the home run. I'm here. Mm, poignant, poignant. So sitting on his link and started thinking, it's his car he had to sell, right? And he out here hustling. And then it just came. He was like, he's never gonna make 100 mil in the dope game. Never gonna make 100 mil out here on Slauson Avenue doing whatever he's doing. Nobody's done it. He's not going to do it. Not that way. More than likely, the outcome of any other situation when you're in the streets in the somebody's precinct, to him getting locked up, or even worse, horse and carriage front to church. Now, street cats that listen to this record, right? Street cats that respect him for his hustle, that respect him for being a crip, for the work that he's putting in, and he's sounding like, yo, that is the wrong way. I know we are trying to feed our families, but that's not what's going to put us to that next level. The streets, he explicitly says you're going to end up in somebody precinct, or even worse, horse and carriage front of church. All right, I dealt with it. I ain't just out here for my health with it. Like he's not out there doing it just because he wants to be hustling, right? He's not in the streets just because he want to be, right? He weighed the risk and he's seen the scale tipping. The risk reward for being out in the streets is not worth it. He weighed the risk and the reward and seen the scales tipping, right? He understands that the longer he's out there is not in his favor. Now, let's all get on one accord and take the world. That's just him saying, listen, my guys, listen, y'all my squad, forget this. Let's work together. This is cooperative economics that he's teaching this record, right? You don't hear that. Let's all get on one accord. Let's work together towards this common goal. Take the money, take the power, and take the girls with us. Let's take the money, take the power, and the girls with us. Let's work together, get the money, get the power. That's all we talk about. He right now, this is Claude Anderson in a rap form. He's always talking about getting to the money, buying a politician. Right, what he's saying is like mega powerful stuff. And to take the course, the girls, it's a rap thing. Everybody, take the girls with us. That's it could be interpreted different ways. Like all the girls that you sleep with, or your wife, or your kid, like whatever that is. Like, listen, man, get out here and hustle. That can be interpreted in many different forms, right? But the point is, this screen in particular, he understands that hustling is going to send him to jail or kill him. But he dealt with it because he's not out there for his health with it. He knows the risk, but he has a goal. He gonna reach it. And during that, he realized that the risk was not worth the reward being out there in the streets. Let's all get in world. Let's all get on one accord and take the world. Let's get together, get to cooperative economics, and build up ourselves, right? Build up like our squad as a whole. You can't buy all the bullshit that they sell niggas. Like everything they telling you is like, yo, do this, do this, do this. Like, that's the wrong. Like, you can only be one way. You gotta do whatever. Like that just don't work. Getting the only way to get money is getting in these streets and hit licks, right? He said, can't buy that. Don't buy it. He said, all that breeds is drug heads and jail niggas. Right. So you out there in the dope game, you're going to breed drug heads, and it's going to put you back in jail. Right. Look at all the ways that they derail niggas, like all the issues they got, like all the ways you could get off task. Everything they got in the hood, like I said, there's the prisons, there's the police, there's the girls, there's the mental health. There's all these. There's the food choices. There's all these things. Poor schools, like all these ways they derail niggas. That's why respect me to the utmost when you see me how I feel, niggas. Like, yo, I made it. You gotta respect that fact that I made it out the street. I was where y'all were, and you gotta respect it. I seen it coming. Like, so Nipsey, if you don't, for people that don't know, he's a is a big proponent of the laws of attraction. He mentions a lot that he sees stuff, he visualizes it, and he makes it happen. And people gotta respect him because he didn't fail. He seen it coming. Did not tell niggas like, yo, actually, yo, I told you I was gonna make it. I told us we gonna make it. All right. Now, this once again, you gotta understand the slang, understand the lyrics, you gotta understand like where he's coming from. This is also important. Right. Different lane, same passion for the male niggas. Switching lanes. All glass two cylinders. Now, different lane, same passion means he's no longer out in the drug game day and night, putting in work for the crip game. He put that same work into the business side. Different lane, same passion for the male. Now, what he's referring to when he say passion for the mail is mailbox money. Where he talks a lot about how labels they invest in you for mailbox money. Mailbox money is money that comes to you every month in the mail, regardless. Right? He has an entire mixtape called Mailbox Money, and he discusses intently like, yo, you have to have residual income. You have to have passive income that comes to you in the mail, right? This high school dropout, crip, rolling 60s, shooter that's a fat, all that is telling people to own assets. He talks about real estate extensively. He talks about intellectual property, mailbox money. Different lane, same passion for the mail. Switching the lanes, all black, two ceilings.